It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning to you, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just crossed the river on 23rd Avenue. Get over to Joe's Karting today. Do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing. And had a long conversation with Buddy over at Joe's Karting earlier this week, talking about the Malvern Banks Slick Track Series presented by Joe's Karting. It's going off great. A lot of great competition over there, and he said there's been a lot of top fives, a lot of fast speeds. It's not just one or two drivers that are taking the night consistently throughout the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of competition over there. Get over to Joe's Karting today. The Slick Track Series, brought to you by Malvern Bank and presented by Joe's Karting. Kind of a special thing that they do. They close off the road course, redesign it just a little bit, and then throw a slick tire on the back end of one of those carts, and you're basically, it would be a lot like Eagle, but Eagle's still kind of got a straightaway. There's very little straightaway to this slick track. It's racing around a Cheerio, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think a fast lap's like a 7.5 or a 7.6. If you're in an 8-second range, you're going to get lapped in a hurry.
I think I was at a 14.
Yeah. They've also got this afternoon here is the holiday horsepower drives Racing with the Stars.
Oh, no kidding. That came up already?
Yep.
Oh, my God. It's November, Dirk.
So get on Joe's website. The sign up and everything starts in the morning. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it's 10 or 11 o'clock. The racing's supposed to start at noon. Go over there. I saw they've got Ben Schaller's in there and Jack Dover's in there, as he is every year. Defending champion was Jordan Krug, I believe.
That sounds about right. He's usually pretty solid.
And he's back at it, obviously, to defend his title. I couldn't remember. There's 15, 16 drivers listed, but they're all on the website. If you get over there, you can probably try and pick and choose and get a heat and see if you can beat your hero, So should be a good time. The money goes to a good cause.
Joe'sKarting.com, kartingwithak.com for more tickets and information. Get over to Joe's Karting today. Do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing. Today's show, we're going to recap what happened at Martinsville. A couple of drivers already put themselves in a little bit of a hole trying to get it into the round of 4. One driver punched their way into the round of 4 already, and then we'll talk a little bit about the racing action. Turn number 2, we're going to sit down with Andrew Kosiski, driver of the number 53 Super Late Model throughout the area, and then always one of our favorite interviews. I was going back and interviewing this or editing this interview on Thursday afternoon, and I'm just cracking up because Chad Koch, driver of the 22C out of Texas, he does one thing. As we were recording this back in, it was probably about a month ago, we did this back at Quaker Steak.
The only thing he remembers from medical school.
Yeah, and you got to listen to it. And there is one my favorite part. Chad was obviously not even drinking heavily yet, but he just said something really weird at the beginning of the interview when we were bringing him on and introducing him. And off in the distance, you can hear his girlfriend chirp. And it sounds like somebody stepped on a chihuahua. You got to listen really closely to that. It's in the first minute of the interview, but that's coming up in turn number 3. And the turn number 4, we're going to get you set for today's race at Texas. Race number 2 in the round of 8. Whoever wins today, provided it's not the guy who won at Martinsville. I'm trying not to say it in case you haven't heard him, do a little suspense, but another person could punch their ticket into the round of 4 for today. And keep in mind, if they punch their ticket into the round of 4 today, it doesn't matter what they do this for stage points or bonus points today at Texas or next weekend at Phoenix, because none of the bonus playoff points that they would have normally qualified in this round will carry on to the round of 4. Everybody is going to start in the exact same points and position. So that way it makes it crisp, clean, and simple. Whoever finishes best of the championship 4 wins the title.
It's not the bonus points for this round. It's the bonus points for the whole year. Mm-hmm. They're throwing 35 races out the window. It's 4 guys, mano a mano. Top dog's going to be the champion.
Let's talk about that result at Martinsville. Once again, we had a pretty good crowd, a good race. Martinsville never lets down, although Martin Truex Jr., he went on and kind of stunk up the show. It's not always a fun thing when you're watching on TV, at least, to watch one guy lead 464 laps because all you do is watch him, and when there's a restart, you got, 10, 12 laps, and then he's into lap traffic, and then that's kind of fun to see him navigate that. But Martin Truex Jr. just simply took him to the woodshed.
His goal right now will be to prepare for Phoenix and make sure Kevin Harvick doesn't win to keep him out of the Final Four. Yeah, that's going to be his goal, I'll tell you that. That
might be his biggest strategy, along with, obviously, he wants to go out there and win every race, wants to put the sponsors up in victory lane, wants to get as much TV time as possible. But I think you're absolutely right on that point. I finally agree 100% with you for something in a while, but I think his entire strategy is defense. Keep the strongest competitors out of victory lane and keep them out of Homestead. And in my book right now, I think it's Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch are probably his two biggest competitors.
I don't even know if Kyle Busch is there right now, and if Eric Almirola has his way, Kyle Busch is not going to be anywhere near Homestead.
What was it Eric said? We got 3 races left.
He's going to give him hell.
Yeah, and...
And Kyle Busch stated, I've got a lot more to worry about than Eric Almirola.
Absolutely. This is something that you have to remember both as a NASCAR driver running for a championship and a dirt track driver too. You have to race people the way you want to be raced. You run them a little bit too hard, and they're going to remember it. And these drivers have got long memories. They can't remember what they had for breakfast, but you better damn well believe they'll remember you ran me wrong into turn 3 on lap 429 at Martinsville. And I'm going to pay you back at Phoenix, or I'm going to pay you back at Homestead, and it's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me.
He made it sound bad, but I don't know if maybe NASCAR will tone him down a little bit. And then we had the WWE match where Joey Logano has brought a new meaning to the hit and run.
Yeah.
Or shove and run, bump and run.
I kind of sided with Denny on this again. I thought that it was kind of a chicken, move.
It was a racing deal, plain and simple.
Yeah, I'm talking about on pit road. I think what they were doing, they were racing. I was fine with it.
Pit road, they talked about it, and that's all it should have been. Yeah. And even Joey said the next day, I shouldn't have shoved him.
Yeah, I think I agree with that 100%.
Which is the same thing Tyler Reddick said at Kansas. Don't put your hands on me.
Right.
I'm willing to talk to you.
And they were having a civil conversation. I think he said later, he's like, I just didn't appreciate what Denny was saying. He didn't seem apologetic at all. Yeah. And you get wrecked like that, you get done run like that, and you want somebody to at least say, I'm sorry, whatever. But Denny, you could even see Denny goes,
Denny didn't say he was sorry when he wrecked Chase Elliott a year ago. Why was he going to say he was sorry on this?
Let's talk about those race results. Martin Truex Jr., like we said, went on and won the race. William Byron came home in second. Brad Keselowski in third. Denny Hamlin was the next best playoff contender. He's in fourth. Ryan Blaney in fifth. Kurt Busch is in sixth. Kevin Harvick, seventh. Joey Logano, eighth. And Kyle Larson in ninth, with Ryan Newman rounding out the top 10. Boy, I'd love to listen to that race on the radio as I was working in the backyard. They kept saying Ryan Newman is being Ryan Newman, and that's not a bad thing. Ryan Newman is the hardest person to pass because he will race every lap as hard as he can, and that garnered him a top 10 finish. With that, 6 team desperately needs more top 10 finishes.
Well, yeah, and he started at the back. He had some trouble getting through tech and started clear at the back. So for him, for a top 10 at Martinsville, starting in the back is not an easy feat to overcome.
Yeah.
At Texas or a 1.5 mile type track or anywhere else, you got plenty of time before you lap.
Yeah.
At Martinsville, if you can't start cutting through the field right away, you're going to be starting to have the leader on your back bumper in about 30 laps.
Absolutely. You may have one of the top fastest cars, but if you can't get around the traffic in front of you, you're going to get lapped and you're going to be in a world of hurt. Chase Elliott, boy, bad start to his championship run. Well, bad shot for his championship run, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Well, engine failure early in that race, was only able to complete, he did end up completing 445 laps.
It was not an engine failure in the race. He broke an axle or a rear gear. I don't remember. It was in the rear end. He started the race. He blew an engine in the first
That's
practice.
Right. He lost an engine in practice.
But it's just kind of karma working as far as I'm concerned. He kind of backdoored to get in. Mm-hmm. With Brad Keselowski losing 5 spots at Kansas on the last restart and allowing Chase Elliott into the round 8.
You're still mad about that because you took Brad.
Yeah, like I'm in the top 3 people in the contest.
Well, you are in our contest.
I'm not really mad about it. It's just like I said, it's like karma working backwards.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be here, so you're not going any further type thing.
Clint Boyer finishes, by the way, Chase Elliott 36th, the worst of the playoffs contenders. He's in a big hole going into today's race at Texas. Clint Boyer 35th. Alex Bowman 30th. Let's see. Eric Jones 20th. Daniel Hemrick 18th. Matt DiBenedetto 16th. Actually, I kind of feel like that's a little bit of a bad run for those guys. They've been very strong the last, 10 weeks?
Yeah, but it was still, I think, about 8 or 10 spots higher than he qualified, wasn't it?
Yeah, one spot higher. Qualified 16th, finished 15th. Kyle Busch ends up finishing 14th. The other playoff contenders, like I mentioned, Larson 9th, Logano 8th, Harvick 7th. So that's how they stack up finishing up that round. And here's how they look going into today's race at Texas. Obviously, Martin Truex Jr. has moved on to the next round. Denny Hamlin sits second. Kyle Busch third, with Joey Logano, the final car who would point his way into the championship round. Kevin Harvick in fifth. Ryan Blaney in sixth. Kyle Larson in seventh. And Chase Elliott, big hole, 74 points behind the leader. He's 44 points behind Joey Logano. So already you essentially have to win, or you're going to need help from Logano, Harvick falling out, Kyle Busch even falling out, something like that. And that's not something you can expect.
No, but he's also got enough car to win at a track like Texas.
He does. Yeah, and he's got the talent. He's obviously got the talent. He's got the organization behind him. He's got the manufacturer. The cards are there for him to be able to win today at Texas, and that'll be his easiest way to get into the round of 4, although he could mathematically still point his way in. All right, that's going to do it for us in turn number 1. Gus. Andrew Kosiski is going to join us in turn number 2, and then Mud Turtle himself, Chad Koch, 22C driver, sprint car throughout the area. We'll talk to him coming up in turn number 3. Full preview for Texas coming up next on the front stretch.
Red Oak Fabrication is excited to announce they're expanding their powder coating business, which means quicker turnaround times at the same great price. Get all the benefits of a powder-coated chassis for just $275 for a bare frame. Ask Jordan about special pricing for large and small projects today. Email Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com. Located at the intersection of Highway 34 and 48 in Red Oak, Iowa, or at redoakfabrication.com. A beautiful and durable service is just down the road.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you White Knuckle Racing by the River bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Doing another Quaker Steak and Lube live interview presented by Red Oak Fabrication. Online at redoakfabrication.com. If you're getting your car put together for 2020 or you're making repairs to your 2019 car, powder coating is available at an affordable price in Red Oak, Iowa. It's just 45 minutes down the road from Omaha, provided that the roads aren't flooded out. And you can get your chassis powder coated for just $275 for a bare frame. Any sandblasting or reworking that needs to be done, it might be just a little bit more, but you can always get a free estimate by emailing Jordan F. at redoakfabrication.com. Once again, redoakfabrication.com. I want to say a big thanks to them for bringing all of our interviews in 2019. Joining us on the show now, the driver of the number 53 late model throughout the area. 1 win on the year, 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s, and 11 features. I should say 1 win at I-80 Speedway. But Andrew Kosiski just picked up a win a couple of weeks back at the new Raceway Park. Good year for you. Are you happy with it? Or I guess I should say you always want more, but are you happy with it?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I got 3 wins this year, so I can't really complain. I mean, we were in the top 5 a lot. I've had more DNFs than I've ever had in a season, so that really stinks. But those happen. You know, you can't win them all, but I'd like to have less DNFs because almost every time I did, I was up front.
Yeah, well, I remember a race you DNF before you even got on the track.
Yeah, that's happened before.
Yeah, but I remember that was Dennison this year?
Yep. We blew the motor in the heat, leading the heat race, going to start up front, and blew the motor, so we had to go home and change.
And I think most of your DNFs, unfortunately, came in the Super Late Model Touring Series.
Yes. I think I had 6 in the SLMR Tour. I didn't have any in weekly. Yeah, I mean, I just picture a lot of them. I was running up front, top 5, I think, in 3 of them DNFs late in the feature, and either crashed or something happened.
Luck's a big part of how this works, and Sean Harker was on just a little bit ago and said you can make your luck, but there is a little bit of it that it's just out of your hands.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Them blown motors, you never know what could happen there. Couple crashes. I mean, just something silly happens. I had a shock mount break. I can't think of what else. It was just a lot of small stuff, but I guess you just can't. The years that I usually don't fall out, I don't get no wins. This year I got 3, and I fell out like 6 times. So
we don't mean to laugh at you. We're laughing with you.
You got to find a happy medium there somewhere.
I'm like Clint Boyer right now.
Yeah. Where's your beer? Yeah. Clint would have a beer if he was sitting up here with us.
I'd rather
give me one, Dan.
I'd rather be Clint than Jimmy.
I'll find our waitress then, because I could definitely use one. It's way too late at night, and I haven't been drinking. Points championship for the Cubbies Convenience Store Super Late Models, the Points Series. You were up in the top 5 and a contender for the championship late in the year, but I think with, 2 races to go, you had a little bit of misfortune and a little bit of a bad finish. I think you were outside of the top 5, and that was kind of what really kind of put the stack and not able to get over that.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to correct your stats. I actually didn't fall outside the top 10, but I did have 1 outside the top 5, and that was my killer. But that we had a double feature night. I had to start 3rd row both times, and we're all so good and so equal. It's tough to start behind someone, and Bill and Josh started in front of me both races that night, so that's what got me.
Still a good year for you, though. Do you feel like you're still moving forward in the Super Late Model class? Talent-wise, experience, and being more competitive more often?
Oh, definitely. A couple years ago, you'd be up front next to Burke or Tad or even Bill, and you'd be like, wow, I had a good night. Now it's like I expect to be up there, and things are slowing down. The cars are working easier. It just, I should be up front all the time, I feel like.
And I think you are competitive a little bit more often, and probably in 3 or 4 years, you'll be talking about you, maybe even 2 or 3 years with this track championship as opposed to Josh Leonard or Bill Layton or the guys that have been able to pick it up over the last couple of years. I think you are steadily increasing and getting just a little bit better every year.
Yeah, I've only been top 3, I think, almost every single year, but about 3 I've raced, so I just got to get that championship.
And it's really amazing to me, when you talk about the upper classes like your modifieds and your super late models, how long it takes to catch the field and be competitive with them, but how quickly it can go away.
Definitely. In the middle of the year, you could be dominating, and then all of a sudden, you don't know, something stupid, like a shock could be bent, no gas pressure in a shock. You moved to 4-bar, you forgot where it went, and it'll just bite you. But you got to be on your game at all times with the upper classes.
And you got to go over these cars. Sean Harker talked about it. Championships were won a lot of times because he starts his race week Sunday in the shop, tearing the car down, making sure all those regularly wearable parts are maintained, replaced, and things go over. Like you talk about, a bad shock can haunt you, and if you don't go over and check those things regularly, it's going to keep you from winning races quickly.
Definitely. One time this year we got tore down in tech. They had us take our 4-bars off the car, and we put them back on, and we put one in the wrong place. I raced the next race, and I said, man, I'm just overly tight tonight, and didn't realize it, and we had it in the wrong spot. Well, then that next week we found it, got it corrected, and I think we actually won the next week after that. So that's just the way it works.
Is that one of those things that just frustrates you when you miss those little things? Something that just should have gone back together, like no problem, but it was just an oversight, a little thing that held you back from winning races or being competitive?
Definitely. It just, it stinks. You can't correct it. When it's over, it's over. And when you're in the middle of that feature that something's wrong, and we're not all Jesse sobbing. We can't just drive the wheels off it and win every time.
Running an MB Custom still?
Correct, yes.
Chassis?
Yep.
Probably going to stick with them in 2020? You thinking about maybe moving around to a different manufacturer?
I'm pretty happy right now. I'm doing good, so.
Talking about the Super Late Model Series, you had a good year there, and that's really growing into an incredible series. Obviously, your family runs that series and doing a fantastic job with it, but because of that series, you're probably able to go and race a lot more tracks that you may not race if you weren't a part of the series.
Oh, definitely. That's what I enjoy about the series a lot is Yeah, I like I-80. I run probably my best there, but you know what? I like to go to 15, 16 different tracks a year and, experience that stuff. I went to Raceway, like you said, 2 weeks ago, and haven't had great success there, but it's a little tiny bull ring, and I don't know, I ran really good. The car was set up and everything was working right. But if you don't go to them other tracks, you'll never be a great driver.
So would you, if you had your choice, would you stick to 1 or 2 tracks a week, or would you be more of a touring guy?
I would rather be a touring guy for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that comes from just following your dad around touring all over the country?
Probably. I mean, like I've told Kara before, I said, you don't understand. Wednesday to Sunday every week, I was in a camper, and we were in the hauler going up and down the road, getting back at 5, 6 in the morning, living in gas stations, eating food, racetrack food. It just, I like to travel.
And to me, I think that would get exhausting, but you can tell that's a cherished part of your life.
Oh, yeah. That's what I did for fun. I didn't get to go on vacations and stuff. I mean, we did a couple times a year, but my fun was going racing. That's just what it was. It's a little more stressful now being the driver / owner. It was a lot easier just, having my dad drive, pay for everything. I just had to make sure my job was done right. But I definitely miss going up and down the road a lot, and I think we'll get a little bit more. We got to get the rules closer for everybody serious so we can do it.
Yeah.
And why did everybody call you Gus?
Oh, that's been my nickname my whole life. It's just been a nickname forever.
I would really love to know where that came from.
When
because
I heard somebody call him Andrew, I was going, who are they talking about? Gus. His real name's Andrew. Oh, I thought his name was Gus. That's all I ever heard.
If you've ever seen the movie Cinderella, you'll know where Gus came from.
Okay.
It's Andrew and Gus, but AK's kind of been hearing people say it, and I kind of respond to it now, so that's kind of cool. We got the logo out there and kind of got our own brand going. I feel pretty cool.
By the way, really cool hats you had made this year.
I know. I was very impressed. Dre Hampel, actually, with Underdog Design, helped design the everything. My T-shirts, a lot of media stuff, my car, and he does a really good job at that stuff. If you can get him to sit down and just listen to you, he does a really good job.
Sit down and listen are 2 qualities Dre Hempel does not have.
No.
And this is coming from a guy who's got ADD and can't pay attention to anything.
Right.
But if I'm criticizing Dre for that.
I ain't no good at it either, though. So.
Yeah.
But he did a great job, and it really took off. A lot of people liked it, and I think we sold out of hats immediately, so we had to get more, and I think we only have a few left, so we'll have to get more.
Yeah, the T-shirts are really cool. It's got the AK design on the front and then the American flag with a late model silhouette behind it. Really, really cool stuff. You can find it on AndrewKosiski53.com/apparel. A lot of great stuff available on there, on your merchandise there. And do you go through My Race Pass still, or are you solely through Dirt Shirts USA?
Dirt Shirts USA.
Great job over there. I love what Joey's doing with the operation and what he's doing with. I kind of want to call it the consignment, but it's like the 2000 previous season's shirts. He'll resell them on the website, and he does a fantastic job with taking care of the orders and sending stuff out.
I've had a lot of people come down this year and ask me for shirts, and I try not to be rude. I say, I just don't take care of them. We just ain't got time to take care of that stuff anymore. We used to, my mom used to do it. Kara can't go with me all the time. You can't do it. So you got to have somebody do it. And that T-shirt trailer was huge this year for us. I mean, I sold more shirts and hats than I've ever sold, and strictly because of that T-shirt trailer, and they can buy it online. People do online now, So
it's this online thing. I think there's something there.
Oh,
it's going to be popular.
I think you got it.
Can you imagine, you're talking about how busy you are now because work at Kosiski Auto Parts, you're doing very well over there. You got the race operation going on, your marriage with Kara. Can you imagine when you add having a kid to the equation, how much harder this is all going to be?
I'll probably just treat it the same way my dad treated it.
Yeah.
That's why they're practicing with the 4-legged kid.
Yeah, that's true. You've got the dog.
So it's hard enough work right now, but I don't know. I grew up in a garage and grew up, if I wasn't in the garage, there was a basketball hoop outside. I'd play with that, but I don't know why it'd be any different.
Yeah. That's what everyone says. I'm a little worried to have kids because I got a lot of comeuppance.
Yeah.
I got a lot coming back to me from
You like that technology stuff, though. I don't. So they ain't going to be forced to have phones and
No,
iPads.
my kids are
Dan-
not having iPads. or
Dan broke a
tablets
corn
and stuff.
bin.
Yeah.
So
Which is the reason why Andrew has never taken me up on the offer to crew with him one of these weekends.
That's right.
He's like, yeah. I'll give you a call if I need your help.
you'd go out and blow a tire, and Dan would screw that blown tire up for you.
Absolutely.
I keep thinking I can probably have Dan scrape mud, and then I think,
I know.
man, he'll get burned on a header or something, and then he'll be
Oh.
suing me, and I don't know if I could do it.
I wouldn't sue you. We could take care of it
The
on the
mud
table.
scraper-
You'd be in the ambulance more than you'd be working on
That's
the car
true.
then.
I would be. I
The
would
mud
be.
scraper'd slip, and he'd poke a hole in a fuel cell. Or
I'd have a
something.
defibrillator hooked to my chest, and
Maybe the next gen car will change it all. I don't know.
But I got a question about your little mini rant, almost a blog post on Facebook a couple weeks ago. Evidently, you made a visit to Lincoln for a football game.
Yeah, I'm a season ticket holder there, yes.
What are we going to do to get those 90,000 football fans to show up at a racetrack?
I don't know. I hear a lot of people don't go to racing no more, and they say, there's just other things to do. And I was down there tailgating all day with my dad, and he has been to a game in 10 years, so I brought him, and there was so many business owners down there, and they were just throwing numbers out, 10 grand, 25 grand, how much they give to the place, and then they want us to build this $155 million, building, and I'm just like, man, racetracks are closing up. We can't afford to keep doing this by ourselves. I just wish people would try to go racing a little more. It's still fun. We could still tailgate. We could still party. We can do everything they want to do at a Husker football game. And
For what I pay for my 4 seats for one Husker game, and it doesn't matter if it's Ohio State or South Alabama, I could take my whole neighborhood to a night at the dirt track.
I'm a diehard Husker fan. I don't hate Nebraska. I'll never hate Nebraska. I'm a Jets fan too. That tells you I don't mind losers.
yeah, he's glutton for punishment.
But
Yeah, your mind's in a whole other place.
I just can't believe that we can't get more people to want to go out there, especially for the Silver Dollar Nationals. It just makes absolutely no sense to not be out there and have that place to where we can't let people in. It should be that packed.
You talk about the tailgating aspect. I've had the amazing experience to kind of be up close and personal with the Silver Dollar Nationals for the last 3 years. And I tell you, there's some guys that are crawling out of that track on Sunday that have had way more fun than they would ever have at a college football weekend. And they did it for a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, like I said, I've grown up my whole life going racing and had a lot of fun. When we go to Knoxville, we have an absolute blast them 3 days. The 3 days at Silver Dollar. I went to Farley this year. We had some fun up there at the Yankee. Wheatland's always a fun time. There's other places we can go. I've skipped races to go to Husker football games too. I love football, but there just was a lot of business owners down there that I just felt like they could probably figure out a way to do their write-offs a little differently and to get some race car drivers some money.
Well, and your point with that, with the business owners that were throwing around dollars, their $25,000 going to the Husker program is a drop in the bucket. But their $25,000 at a dirt track or a race would make a huge difference.
They could. They would. That's half of somebody's program. Some of the lower classes, they're probably not going to get that much. Okay, they don't need that much money to try to do a two-run series. You need every bit of that, probably double that. But you throw 25 grand at Nebraska, they don't care. Who are you?
Yeah.
Throw 25 grand at somebody like me or. One of the modifieds, any class, and they're gonna talk about you, and they're not gonna quit talking about you and sharing your stuff on Facebook and going to you and telling their family to go to you. I promise you that one.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, your food came out.
Did my food get here?
Your food came out. What did you
that's
order?
Okay. Quesadilla. Oh, Kara's eating it.
Oh yeah, the quesadilla is
quesadillas,
so
wings,
good.
Boom Boom Shrimp.
Oh, the Boom Boom Shrimp. You're the one. I think you were the one that turned me on to that Boom Boom Shrimp.
That Boom Boom Shrimp is good.
It's so good. All right, Andrew
we've got
Kosiski.
another 35 minutes with Andrew, so
Andrew Kosiski, driver the number 53, a super late model throughout the area. AndrewKosiski53.com for more information. By the way, if you want to be a sponsor of Andrew, you can always message him on Facebook or get a hold of him at Kosiski Auto Parts. You can always reach out to him. He'll take great care of you. Make sure you thank some of them great sponsors that have signed up with you this year.
Yeah, I definitely got to thank Carl and Tracy Getchman first. They stepped up and said they wanted to be the primary sponsor, and I can't help them enough. They let me drive the car a couple times a year and in the crate class, and I enjoy doing that.
And that's All Makes Collision Center, right?
That's All Makes Collision, yes. They're in Council Bluffs. They just opened up a new store, too.
Yeah.
Go check them out.
Right over by my house.
He says he's busy right now, but that's okay. Keep him busy. We need him to keep buying race cars. Not mine, his own. But certified transmission. We've done reman transmissions now at Kosiski Auto Parts for probably close to 6 years. And, I get $25 every tranny that we sell down there. So it's not just a gift. We have to earn that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kosiski Auto Parts, the family select auto. I help him out with his parts, too. I've brought customers down there to try to buy a car. Omni Inventive Care, my sister works there. That's a funny story. She goes, if I get my boss to sponsor you, can I not help you work on the car?
Which sister?
I said, yeah, Alex.
Alex?
So I said, yeah, I guess that could work. I got to thank Dennis Murphy. He doesn't really want to even be talked about. He just wants to help us out. He lets us sit in his suite at Knoxville, and if I ever break or something major, he says, call me and I might give you $1,000 or $2 just to help. I got all kinds of product sponsors. I can't thank them enough. I mean, we can't race buying it at list cost every single time. Sometimes we got to get a wholesale price, and almost every single one of them that I put on my websites and that we thank, they help me out and give me a discount.
By the way, any drivers out there getting frustrated at the number of sponsors that some of these bigger teams have, look at the way Andrew's website is designed, laid out. The sponsors are clearly credited. Every one of them has a link to go to their website. That's how, coming back to it, you're talking about taking care of the sponsors is how you get them back each and every year. Definitely,
and we come to realize a couple years ago that Facebook is watched more than about anything.
Yeah.
So Joey does a great job at that. In race, we used to do in races. It's tougher now with him at the racetrack, but you get a midweek, where we're going, what we're doing. You get an after race. It's followed up. I mean, I don't think anybody could complain about how we try to promote our racers. And if I do get a mic in my face, unfortunately, the last race I went to, that's the only thing I said is the guy didn't give me no time to thank no sponsors. He just wanted to talk about the race. And I said, yeah, we saw the race. I want to talk about the guys that, So we try to, every chance I get, I try to thank them, especially the ones that really help me out the most.
Once again, dirtshirtsusa.com for Andrew Kosiski apparel, AndrewKosiski53.com for more information on Andrew. Bruce, always do love having you on the show, big guy.
Yeah, I thank you very much.
All right, we're going to let him eat. We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the front stretch.
We all have that coworker that runs their mouth off at how great they are. They shot a 5 under par, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, bench press 375, brah. Wouldn't you love to shut them up by schooling them at Joe's Karting? Council Bluffs' premier indoor karting track, professionally designed so each corner is your opportunity to embarrass your coworker. Call Buddy for your next company outing at 712-256-5278. Joe's Karting, white knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue next to AMC 17.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole of the front stretch and the home of MAV TV, featuring action from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Located on Mid-America Drive in Council Bluffs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Rolling into turn number 3. Time to do another Red Oak fabrication interview. It's getting to be a little bit chilly out there, so make sure you stock up on your Carhartt gear. I know most of you listening within the front stretch listening area may be outside of the Red Oak, Iowa area, but it is well worth your drive. Fully stocked on Carhartt merchandise. Great specials throughout the month of October. Get to Red Oak, Iowa. Find the exact location by searching for Red Oak Fabrication on Google or Siri, and or go to redoakfabrication.com for more information. I want to say a big thank you to Red Oak Fabrication for sponsoring all of the interviews in 2019. Last time this guy was on the show, he coined one of the great phrases on this show, and I think by his reaction, he may be regretting that just a little bit. Coming to you out of Texas. Not really sure if that carries any weight, but he is now located in Lincoln, Nebraska. Chad Koch, how you doing, bud?
I'm pretty good, man. I got
pretty good
beer in this hand and you in my other one, so,
And no mud turtles.
By the way,
anywhere
that
near.
wasn't a dog getting stepped on. That was Chad's girlfriend getting jealous because he's got me in one hand. What are you drinking tonight?
Just a Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. All right, that's a good choice. I enjoy Miller Lite.
It's a Pilsner.
I'd have given you a Sam Adams, but it turns out I drank it all.
Like
So
Sam
they're-
Adams motor oil is
Yeah.
what it looked
Oh.
like.
So after you've been here for a season, what do you think about racing in Nebraska?
You know, racing in Nebraska is kind of different. It's been different. The like Adam said, the talent pool's just deeper. I
Deep.
mean, it really is.
You got a pretty deep talent pool in Texas, so also.
You had a deep talent pool, but you didn't get to race against them frequently.
Yeah, because it was so spread out. I mean, you didn't race against the same guys every week.
And were you on 2 radio shows in one season in Texas?
No, absolutely
All
not.
right, then.
That makes you somewhat of a celebrity then.
Yeah, for sure. I really think, you know, you look at Eagles' weekly show, and God, it's stacked. It really is. And that's what I tell people when they ask me, like, you know, why'd you move up here? Or, you know, why did you move to Nebraska? And it's like, you go to Eagle on a weekly show with a sprint car, and it's tough. It's tough to get a win. It really is. And we were fortunate enough to get one in a backup car. And
You had one pretty well in hand one night, and then,
yeah, that one.
Those are the kind that really hurt the most, aren't they?
Yeah, I watched my interview after that one,
Yeah.
like a week or two later, and you could just see the rejection and just pissed off on my face. Led 16 out of the 20 laps around the bottom just because it was working, and you don't give up what's working. And then as soon as I heard her coming around me is about the time I realized that the rubber was about a groove and a half up, and I went, oh, there it is, and she went around me, and it was too late. And that's the part of, you know, when you're in lap traffic, you don't undo what you're doing to get to the lead.
Yeah.
You know, and
Dance with the one that brung you.
yeah, and you know, we were working the bottom, and believe it or not, you know, I'm not. This season, I've been a bottom feeder, which is fine with me because it kept my stuff from being tore up.
Yeah.
This is my first year being a car owner.
And the night you broke the wheel and end over, you know, and trashed up there in 3 and 4. That's just a tough deal because it happened to us a couple weeks later.
Yeah,
You know?
and you know, it's what's funny is we went to Jackson last weekend or 2 weekends ago, whenever it was, and I couldn't roll the bottom to save my life.
Huh.
I got up against the fence because I felt more comfortable up there, and so I really think, you know, Eagle is just a whole different animal, and we figured out how to get around the bottom really good there, and you know, we have 2 seconds in a first, and around the bottom at that joint.
Not so bad.
Honestly, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, you're sissy-footing around the bottom. Well, not really. You're working the brake a lot more than the guy on the top.
And it takes an art to run the bottom.
It really does.
You know.
That night that you won, you definitely had the bottom figured out. I think you were 3/10, 4/10 faster than anybody. I mean, it was amazing how much faster you were.
Yeah, you know, and that was kind of a surreal moment for me because Mike Boston, you know, I've heard of the dude before I moved up here, but didn't really know the guy. And getting to go side by side with him for, 8 or 10 laps, and him on the top doing Mike Boston things, and me just like, why am I still with him? Why is he not just pulling me? And the next thing you know, I yanked him off too, and I went, "Oh, we're really good."
Is it that much special when you're able to outrun 7-time track champion Mike Boston?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The dude.
You've got some guys in Texas. I want to come back to the beginning of this that we had talked about in the offseason that you wanted to come up to Nebraska because sprint car racing in Nebraska is more frequent.
Yeah.
That you would get maybe 10 or 15 races in at down in Texas. And you'd have to haul quite a ways to get those races in. But you got nearly 15 races in at Eagle alone this year.
Yeah.
That experience alone, I think, is huge. And anything you do, you got to do it more than once to twice a week in order to get good at something.
Yeah, and that was kind of my struggle this year, funding my own stuff and really just maintenance and being the car owner and being the crew chief and being the driver. It takes a lot. I mean, it's a full-time job outside of your already full-time job.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you, there was weeks I was like, man, do I even want to race this week? I am worn, smooth out, and something would hit me about, late Tuesday, early Wednesday, and I'd be like, all right, we're going racing, and
most drivers, it hits them Friday afternoon, and they're like, all right, we'll go racing.
Saturday at 4.
You're like late Tuesday. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Yeah. I'm like, that's not late at all. That's way early for most drivers.
Well, what's kind of funny is, where I've got my car at, I've kind of got to let the guys that have shops around me know that I'm going racing. Like on a Friday or a Thursday, hey man, I need room to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like Nationals, kind of a crap show.
No, it's okay. You could say shit show. Adam Gulling already ruined that.
All right,
shit shoveler.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was a
tough time.
Tough time getting out of the shop.
And I'm the one that got the letter.
Suiting up over in Lincoln, you don't have your own ranch and your own shop and your own hauler and trailer. It's a bit of a borrow and beg and see what other people can help you out with.
Yeah, luckily, Monty Ferreira. Yeah, he from California
the other
that
one.
moved here.
Yeah.
He was 2 shops down, and he had a guy working for him that would, if it was like a random Thursday that we were going racing, he'd come down and help me load up, or Sydney, she'd come over. And,
yeah, by the way, you upgraded crew chiefs. You got a really nice looking crew chief
yeah,
now.
she's pretty sexy. I'm not going to lie to you on that one.
Finally, for all night long, she's not paying attention.
Yeah,
and
Not too bad on Facebook Live also.
Yeah, she's pretty good on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
So let's take it back. When we went and ran the non-wing stuff down in Texas, and then got a wild hair and decided to run a URSS show in La Crosse.
Yeah.
It was just me and her.
Your only crew, right?
Literally just me and her. And we went out for hot laps, and we were quickest in hot laps, and everyone's like, who are these people? The car wasn't washed. I mean, it was dirty. I mean, we had just got through running Amarillo, drove like 6.5 hours from Amarillo to La Crosse. And I show up, and I'm like, I'm not ready, but we're going to race. And we went out for hot laps, and I went from running non-wing to wing, and it was like, oh, all right, we've got something for them.
Yeah.
And then the rain happened, and I was like,
that son of a...
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, give me a tacky bull ring.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
I kind of wish it would have stayed green flag the last 5 laps. I think we could have had something for Jake Martins, but, he's tough. Got a lot of respect for Jake. Yeah. He's, personally, I think he's probably one of the best sprint car drivers in the Oklahoma-Kansas region, and that's including 360s.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So I think you could stick him in a 360 right now, and he could still hold his own.
He has won in the 360. I interviewed him. He won a ASCS race at Cameron down at US 36.
Yeah.
First time I met him. Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah, but
I mean, they will help you out so much. I mean, he's a good, clean race car driver, and he's good to race with. And and to go back to last time's interview, you asked me what was the most I ever made racing.
Yeah.
Dodge City last year.
Really?
Yeah. Not the micro race at Cowtown. Dodge City last year, when I ran second to Jake with his rear tires.
Yeah. So you showed up at a track with a very dirty race car, so the mud helped out your percentages and gave you a good handling car. I don't think I would have washed my car the rest of the year.
Chad Koch, driver the number 22C, Race Saver 305 at Eagle Raceway, coming up out of Texas. Chad, a fan on Facebook wants me to ask you how you know you're sick.
I smell my earwax.
I'm sorry. What?
Little known facts.
Yeah, man, I smell my earwax. It's weird. Like, it really is. It's weird as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Do you Q-tip it and then smell it,
man.
or just pick it?
Pinky finger.
Oh my God. That is single-handedly the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Dirk's a little grossed out. Earwax is the only thing that will make me throw up on the spot.
I don't have kids, so I'm not used to all this gross stuff.
Right.
But
you've got a kid,
Chad,
right?
No.
Just stay away.
No.
Just Sydney.
Just Sydney.
Okay, I said it right this time.
Yeah, man. It's one of the weird things that I do. Can't help it.
You pick your earwax and smell it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around that.
Well, I mean, like.
Why didn't you just go with boogers or something easy? You know?
No, man, booger. You know,
that's
'cause
gross.
most of the time my boogers have like a lot of black dust in them from where I work. So
we're going downhill fast.
That's acceptable at the racetrack. Earwax, just nah.
Yeah, earwax, man. I'm telling you. You want to know if you're sick? Smell your earwax.
What's it smell? Does it smell? Have a particular? Like, is it lilac or?
Man, I don't even know what that word means. So I'm gonna keep acting tough.
So you moved up to Nebraska early this year in the wintertime. By the way, you experienced your first major snowstorm.
That sucked.
Yeah. By the way the weather's going right now, buckle down, bro. It's just going to get worse. You know, let's talk about 2020. What's your plans for next year, 2020? We got to get a Barbara Walters sound clip.
Let's see. I think I'm still going to be living in Lincoln. There's a pretty good job opportunity for me.
Where?
Somewhere else.
Where? It's okay. Speaking of it, doesn't make it any more good or bad.
Somewhere south.
Is it with the government?
No, it's not in Texas. It's definitely not in Texas. I ain't going back to Texas for a long time. Let's just.
Is it for the government and you can't talk about it? Is that Iraq?
No.
Is it Iran?
No.
North Korea?
Are you going to be a science experiments on earwax?
Possibly. No.
I hear that pays well.
Adam Kofer with Salina Racing Engines has reached out a couple times, and we keep talking back and forth. And he's, believe it or not, going to do my machine work this year, and that's the first time I've let someone else.
Adam?
Really, yeah.
Adam's a good guy.
Where are they located at?
Salina.
Oh, that makes
Kansas,
sense.
yeah.
And that's still reasonably close.
That might have been the same Adam's talking. Not being able to put two and two together.
And so, you know, I've got that, and I might lay off of racing a little bit, and sometimes I think about throwing a leg over a dirt bike, and, you know, there's...
Well, if you venture out away from Lincoln, hopefully you don't get too far, so we'll still stay in touch.
And that's the deal is I really don't want to get too far because I feel like this area makes you better.
Yeah.
Obviously, my nationals didn't show that, but I feel like I can go down to Texas, and me and Kevin Ramey are not going to get along.
Yeah.
Hey, do you feel like the Nationals is more luck than
absolutely.
anything?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I disagree 100% with the format. I don't even want to get into
So
the rules.
you're having the choice of how to run the Nationals. Just not saying it's right or wrong.
Okay.
The current format is right or wrong. How would you run it if Chad Koch was owner of Eagle Raceway and the Raceway Nationals?
If I had the Nationals, I would obviously practice Thursday. If you draw 1 through 50, so let's say there's 100 cars. You draw 1 through 50 on Friday, you're racing Friday. And you're going to do passing points. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday is 51 through 100. And you're going to do passing points. And you're going to line up that way. And whoever's got more points coming into Sunday, you're going to race Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, I like the whole, you know, top 9 or whatever out of the feature. That makes sense. But, like, you know, I drew a 194 on Friday. I was on the back row of the first heat race. Like, I passed 2 cars. Congratulations, you're in a F main. Okay, great. Sounds good.
But didn't you start better on Saturday because it
started
inverts?
Better on Saturday?
That's the way it's laid out. If you draw the front 2 rows the first night, you can't draw anything but the 3rd and 4th row of the second night.
So
or
you do
vice
redraw
versa.
though.
Yeah.
You do redraw on that Saturday.
Yes.
I think it ought to be straight up passing points. I mean, 2 separate shows.
I don't disagree with the passing points. I like the idea of having 2 nights. If you don't make it in on Friday night, you can still make it in on Saturday.
I don't disagree with that one, but at the same time, when are we going to get to qualify? That's another deal. Knoxville qualifies the 360s and the 410s. This is the 305 Nationals. Let's qualify. Let's put the fast guys up front. Let them duke it out. Okay? I'm tired of having to drive around guys that can't hit their ass with both hands, and you're worried about tearing your own stuff up.
The thing I like about the Nationals right now is that as a fan, and keep in mind, I want things as a fan, that I get to see Chad Koch, Adam Gullion, Trevor Grossenbacher, Tyler Drucke. I get to see them race 3 straight nights if I buy the 3-day pass. Granted, they don't qualify on that Friday night, and then they don't go out and race. But I've got a better chance of I feel like I see so much more racing. I'm not a big fan of the Knoxville Nationals format.
Okay.
Because to me, it makes absolutely no sense that a guy can win his heat race and start 19th in the feature.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
I'm not saying that by no means.
Too much emphasis on time trials.
Right.
There's
got to be a middle ground.
Too much percentage of your final points total on time trials. The name of the game is racing.
Yes.
Not
he was
timing.
going to throw a chair at me. I'm trying to figure out what
and
chair he
And
had.
the other thing is the fast guys are still going to find a way to get to the front, But from the fan standpoint, and even from the racer standpoint, you draw a bad number for time trials, it could kill your weekend.
Or if you draw a high number, it works out for you. There's that too.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've done it.
Yeah.
When I went to Texas, we did time trials with the non-wing stuff.
Yeah, you draw a high number and catch the rubber?
You draw a high number, and we went to Lubbock. It was sloppy the first 32 sessions out. I drew 36.
All the more reason for time trials to be 25% of your final score, not 40%.
100% agree with that. I don't agree with the whole. Let's qualify.
Knoxville is 40% time trials, 20% heat race, 40% feature.
Yep. No,
bad idea.
I get that for sure. 100%.
Chad Koch, driver of the 22C. I hate to cut you short because I'd love to give you all the show you can handle, but you've already outdone yourself from the Precise Racing Products Open House.
We'll have you back.
Yeah, you've done a great job.
On the radio show 3 times.
We're going to take a break. We're going to figure out what sick earwax smells like. Maybe we'll come back. Who knows? We could just phone it in. We'll be back on the front stretch.
As summer winds wind down, those chilly nights at the racetrack are just around the turn. Stay warm while looking good, cheering on your favorite driver with Carhartt from Red Oak Fabrication. Since 1889, Carhartt has proven their mettle from the trenches of World War I to the toughest job sites today. Browse the large selection at the Red Oak Fabrication's Carhartt store and get $5 off pants until September 29th. RedOakFabrication.com/Carhartt or at the corner of North 3rd and East Grimes in Red Oak.
Every race car driver has run into the same problem. It's well past normal parts store closing hours, but you need that one to finish your car. The guys who brought you white knuckle racing by the river bring you Joe's Karting Racing Parts and Tire Store. Open until 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday and open until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. A parts store that fits your after-hours schedule, and you can turn a few laps at Joe's Karting while you're waiting for your part to get pulled from their warehouse. joeskarting.com for more information.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Just about ready to wrap this baby up, rolling into turn number 4, brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. All the summertime fun at Quaker Steak and Lube, well, it's all wrapped up. But all the football action, all the NASCAR action, all the late model action, all the fun still going on inside, and great facility, great food. Get over to Quaker Steak and Lube today for all of the action for today's race at Texas. By the way, coverage is on NBCSN and PRN at 1:30. I believe the picks for today's contest are due at, my notes say 2 o'clock. But pay attention to the email if you're in that contest.
It should be the same as what Kansas Speedway was.
Yep.
So
I think
Central Time Zone.
They did a really good job with all of the final playoff races starting at the same time. So it's got a little bit of a consistency. Everybody knows when to tune in.
Except for the fact that you've also got your 1 hour time change this weekend.
Oh,
so
yes.
make sure you stay on top of that.
I mean, the good thing is nobody really pays attention to clocks in the house anymore. It's your cell phone does it right at midnight. Well, actually, it's like 2 2 a.m. is when it switches over. So you don't have to worry about that. But it does throw you off Saturday night to Sunday morning when the clocks switch.
And also, speaking of Quaker Steak, if people pay attention to the Front Stretch Facebook, you can stop over on Tuesday nights for all-you-can-eat wings and every once in a while get a glimpse of us. We've been doing some interview nights over there, and I know we've got a couple scheduled coming up.
Yeah, we're still going to try to get to the Crawford County Speedway, Shelby County Speedway, and the Malvern Bank Super Late Model Series, but we're just taking a couple of weeks off to kind of get we've got so many interviews. I always hate doing building up all these interviews, and then you feel bad when you finish with an interview and a guy, and you're like, yeah, it's not going to air for 2 months.
Yeah, well... Yeah, and I mean, we've also got, our personal lives where, we've got the holidays and whatnot coming up. And, we've got our homestead party coming up that we've got to, get ready for.
Hey, today's race at Texas. This race earlier this year, Denny Hamlin picked up the win. Clint Boyer came home second. Daniel Suarez in third. Eric Jones in fourth. Jimmy Johnson with a nice top 5 finish. William Byron, Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch, top 10. Rough days. Kyle Larson, who was in the playoffs still, he finished 39th. Ryan Blaney finished 37th. Joey Logano 17th. And Chase Elliott, 13th place finish. That was Texas earlier this year.
And people can also expect our Facebook page to blow up this weekend, too.
It's going to explode?
Yes. Because Miss Lori's going to be in Texas taking a gazillion and one pictures for us.
Oh, I gotta up my data plan then. This race last year, Kevin Harvick.
But we love you, Lori.
We do. She's a hoot, isn't she? I'm telling you, we gotta do a contest. Just hang out with Lori for a day.
Yeah.
You'll be fed well, your clothes will be washed, and you'll get a ton of pictures. Kevin Harvick picked up the win this time last year with Ryan Blaney coming home second, Joey Logano in third, Eric Jones in fourth, Kyle Larson top 5, Chase Elliott, who needs another good run. We talked about it in turn number 1. He needs a big run today. He finished 6th on the day. Kurt Busch 7th. That was when he was in the 41 car. Eric Almirola 10th, and Martin Truex Jr. 9th with Austin Dillon top 10. Bad days. Denny Hamlin 30th this race last year. Daniel Suarez 28th. Most of your playoff contenders pretty high. Kyle Busch 17th. So that's the way this race last year rolled out. Don't forget, all the action is on the big screens today at Quaker Steak and Lube with coverage on NBCSN and PRN starting at 1:30. Picks are due by 2 o'clock. And our final contest is coming up, finishing up next weekend at Phoenix. The Quaker Steak and Lube 5-week contest presented by Brookhaven with your Wealth Partners. Somebody's going to take home a $100 gift card. We'll get you a full race recap and how those points are coming up next weekend when we recap Texas and preview Phoenix, talk about the 4 drivers that are about to get eliminated. We'll get you ready for those contests, who's sitting where in that one. And then Devin Peterson, Sport Mod driver, the 5D, is going to join us, along with Shane Stutzman, stock car champion at I-80 Speedway, is going to join us in turn number 3. So full show lined up for you next weekend and all the weekends to come. Like Dirk mentioned, the Homestead viewing party at Quaker Steak and Lube going on November 17th. I think we get there at about 12:30. We get there about noon, get something to eat, get everything set up, and we just hang out. We've
filling
got
out the pools.
Tons of prizes, tons of cash pools, a lot of great time. There's usually about 75 to 80 people that roll through there throughout the day. Come watch a champion get crowned at Quaker Steak and Lube. It's free to come, but there's no way you're going to go to Quaker Steak and Lube and not enjoy the food and the great beer. That's going to be going on again November 17th, the Homestead viewing party. I want to say a big thank you to Chad Koch and Andrew Kosiski for joining us earlier in the show. And as always, for Dirk Houston, I'm Dan Taylor. This has been The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590.
The official watering hole of The Front Stretch has you covered any day of the week with the best wings, great burgers, and amazing steaks. Each weekday from 4 to 6 is happy hour, featuring $1 off draft and well drinks plus $4 Luberitas. Mondays are kids' night. Tuesdays are all-you-can-eat wings for $12.95. And the lube even delivers to the Council Bluffs area. Like Quaker Steak and Lube Council Bluffs on Facebook for a full list of weekly events.
Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Mid-America Drive, Council Bluffs.
Hey, look at that. You're sitting on your couch playing Halo, Madden, or NASCAR while your friends are at Joe's Karting. Each lap is an adrenaline-filled, heart-pumping, white-knuckle experience that you can only get at the Metro's largest indoor karting track. Eco-friendly Honda engines rip you around their professionally designed road course at breakneck speeds. Can you reach the 14-second lap bracket? There's only one way to find out. Put the controller down and get to Joe's Karting, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs next to Quaker Steak and Lube.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.